Welcome back, Ronin Renegades. I'm Lupine Fiasco. This is Daily FaB Gameplay, and today we are playing FaB into Kayo. For anyone who is new to the channel, welcome to the Resistance. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I'll talk through turn cycles and give my thoughts on the line I would take now, comparing that to the line I took then at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like the upcoming Calling Los Angeles and, most importantly, walk away with that shiny cardboard. If you'd like to check out the list I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, there is a FaB deck link in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. The best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you access to the DFG Discord. At higher tiers, your name will appear in every DFG video. You'll get bonus DFG content every week, and there are even more benefits to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about our sideboard and about the Kayo game plan. Having won the die roll, we will choose to go second. This is your typical aggro matchup. It's a race. We are trying to get bigger numbers than Kayo can. The advantage that Kayo has over FaB is generally bigger numbers, as the might token is easier for Kayo to get than it is for FaB to get his Phoenix Flame. The might token is also more widely applicable, as CNC for 7 is a lot better than Phoenix Flame for 1. The other advantage Kayo has is Scowling Fleshbag. It is the best defensive piece of equipment in the game, aside from possibly Carrion Husk. Brute has it, Ninja does not. So for FaB to win, for FaB to go over the top of Kayo's defenses, not only do we need to find one big Spreading Flames or Art of War turn, but we need to find a second one as well. Winning this matchup means that we are sequencing around the Fleshbag, trying to optimize our chance of having a good turn, even if Kayo does block the Fleshbag. That usually means getting your blue pitch into your pitch zone as soon as possible. It means playing out your starters as soon as possible. It means keeping cards in your hand so that you have a higher chance of keeping your finisher for when you actually need to play it. And it means putting Draconic Links on the chain as fast as you can so that you can pick up your Phoenix Flame as an instant speed response to the Fleshbag trigger, so that you have a chance of banishing your Phoenix Flame rather than an actual good card like Lava Burst or Salt the Wound. Mask of the Pouncing Lynx is always on the table in Fleshbag turns. The one thing you don't want to do is IP yourself when possible. You are going to get your banished card back at the end of your turn. That will be the card you can put into Arsenal. So if you have anything left in your hand at the end of that turn, you are not drawing as many cards as you should. It's possible you did the best you could on your turn to play everything out and the Fleshbag really just got you, but that's what we're trying to avoid. Outside of that, we have no response to Kayo's big Blood Rush Bellow turns. We can block as optimally as we can on those turns to try and preserve life while also sending big damage back. But at a certain point, you just take your licks and hope that there is no disruption tied to it. That's kind of it. Command & Conquer doesn't do as much in this matchup as I would like it to compared to Tenacity, so we leave CNCs in the sideboard. I've seen FaBs playing defense reactions into Kayo to try and stuff a Pulping, as blocking a Pulping from hand and with a Sink Below from Arsenal will take away the Pulping's go again. The problem with that, many Kayos are only running 3 Pulpings, some are running 6, but that is literally the only card in Kayo's deck that Sink Below is effective against. Sink Below is not effective against Command & Conquer, as you can't play it. Sink Below from Arsenal is not effective against Send Packing because the Send Packing banishes the Sink Below before you have an opportunity to play it. Don't play Sink Below in this matchup. Similarly, Reinforce the Line could be played as a response to CNC or Send Packing, but would not turn off the Go Again from Pulping because Reinforce the Line is not a blocking card. So don't run your D-Reacts, don't bring them in. Go full aggro into Kayo and try to steal the win with smart play and fast pop-off turns. Let's cue into it and see if we can pull all of that together. We draw kind of a bad blocking hand for Kayo's turn 1. I guess luckily or not, it isn't relevant, as Kayo does get the Cast Bones turn 0 high roll. That said, he does then miss by revealing 2 non-hits, another Cast Bones, and a Blood Rush Bellow. Those are very strong cards. We are not exactly thrilled to see Kayo reveal another Cast Bones and a Blood Rush, especially considering that Kayo now has agility. And our hand isn't fantastic, honestly. We will play out the hand and actually be able to use Warmonger's Diplomacy here. That's going to stop Kayo from attacking and playing Cast Bones or Blood Rush Bellow. So really effective use of Warmongers here, ordinarily in this matchup. Pitch it, block with it, don't rely on it to stop a Blood Rush or a Cast Bones. Don't count on it being relevant. Kayo may just be keeping a 4 or 5 card hand because he can send something like a Wild Ride into a Claw into a 2-cost attack. But in this case, it is extremely relevant. Kayo has an excellent line in Savage Feast with Go Again, even discarding a Beast Within to draw an additional card in addition to the Savage Feast. Our hand is workable, but not great, honestly. We don't have natural Go Again, so we will need to fire off a 4-card Art of War if we wanted to use this hand offensively. Alternatively, we can use it for defense. We can look to block for 8 at some point in this turn, and Arsenal and Art of War, we could look to block for 6 with Nasty Surprise and Lava Vein Loyalty, send Blaze Headlong for 4, and then Arsenal the Art of War. None of this needs to happen now. We know that Kayo does have a follow-up to the Savage Feast in at least Claw, but very likely something else as a follow-up to the Claw. So we can take this damage, we can even take the Claw damage, and then we can block whatever the last thing is. Alternatively, blocking here is fine too. We hold on to the Blaze Headlong. We are unlikely to see Kayo do anything that disrupts our hand. We don't have an Arsenal, so Command and Conquer is just 6 damage. Send Packing is just 6 damage. Here we see Kayo pitching the Cast Bones that he revealed from the top of his deck to play a Beast Within. We'll take the Beast Within damage. If we hadn't blocked the Savage Feast, we'd be blocking this Beast Within and still sending Blaze Headlong. So while we did block earlier, which was fine, and I agree that setting up the 5-card Art of War is going to be better than throwing the 4-card Art of War, which is a lot more susceptible to Fleshbag, we didn't necessarily need to block then when we could have blocked now. That said, we aren't going to block now. We'll take our 6, we'll go down to 30. Our turn is going to be Blaze Headlong for 4, Arsenal, Art of War. We know that we are in some trouble. Kayo finds another Agile Windup. To make agility, we know that he has a Blood Rush Bellow. Thankfully, just a 4-card Blood Rush Bellow. The 4-card Blood Rush is a lot less scary than the 5-card Blood Rush. Kayo does have the Tunic available. So this is going to be a scary turn. We've got one of our own cooking, as we have 2 0-for-3s. We have a blue to pay for Art of War, and we have another attack to banish to it. So we've got a pretty spicy turn cooking as well. We are hoping that Kayo's follow-up to the Blood Rush is not impressive. That's how it looks now. Claw already has Go Again, so the fact that Kayo is burning the agility on the claw makes me feel like Kayo's turn is going to be suboptimal, and that's what we see here. Blocking with the Flamescale Furnace just to get some value out of it. In case Kayo goes very wide on a future turn, we want to make sure that we're blocking with that Furnace. We can still cover 6 points from a CNC or a Send packing with a 3-block, a Shuko, and the back half of Furnace. So I'm fine with blocking with it here, even though it is just mitigating some life loss. It isn't actually stopping an on-hit. Kayo finds the agility again, but with a 4-card hand, and knowing that he may be doing some blocking on this turn, I'm not super concerned about it. We'll throw the Brand with Cinderclaw before playing the Art of War, just to try and hide some information from Kayo. Playing the Art of War first may incentivize him to block with the Flesh Bag. We want to be able to get a blue into pitch before Kayo blocks with the Flesh Bag so that we know we can get an Emberblade into our turn. The hand we draw into is not bad. We can play Mounting Anger as a follow-up to the Brand with Cinderclaw. That's going to be better than working a Lava Vein Loyalty in. The Mounting Anger on hit is relevant, although Kayo is very likely just blocking with a card from hand and Flesh Bag. If we lose our Lava Vein Loyalty, we get to send Emberblade. We pick up and pitch Phoenix Flame to Emberblade. We can throw Lava Burst, and then we could even break Pouncing Links if the Lava Burst goes unblocked. If we lose the Lava Burst, then we do the same line, but with Lava Vein Loyalty, and we still have that Pouncing Links option. Either way, we are getting a solid red card into our arsenal at the end of the turn. So if Kayo does use the Flesh Bag here, we're looking pretty good. Am I thinking about breaking Pouncing Links this early? No. I do want to see how many blocks we can get out of Kayo. So like I said, I disagree with this line. The problem here is, one, we aren't taking any cards out of Kayo's hand. He isn't incentivized to block any on-hit here. Two, we are losing the option to pitch a Phoenix Flame into our Emberblade because we wouldn't have anything to banish to the Mounting Anger. And we want to make sure that we're getting that Mounting Anger trigger. I don't love breaking Pouncing Links here either. Grabbing Salt just means that Kayo's going to block card from hand, and Leathers blocks the Mounting Anger, or even just 2 cards from hand. Let's see what Kayo's going to do here. The point is, this is an easy block. So this gets covered by a card from hand, and the Leathers, we have a choice of whether we are going to pitch or play our Phoenix Flame. I mean, we are doing the same amount of damage either way. Either we Emberblade for 3 and miss our Shuko trigger, or we Phoenix Flame for 2 and get our Shuko trigger. I think I would have been more inclined to attack with the Emberblade there. The KO did show us a 2-block from hand. So very likely we could have gotten an extra damage over the top with Emberblade. That said, we get the Shuko trigger on Salt Balloon, so really it doesn't matter. But we have this floating resource, and I don't think we needed it. I think we could have sent a higher value damage turn if we had sent the Mounting Anger instead of the Lava Vein Loyalty. The Mounting Anger would have been a lot more relevant because we would have had a card in hand to banish to it. And that's really the important aspect of playing the Mounting Anger first. The on-hit matters, where with our line, the on-hit didn't matter. This turn really plays itself. Renegade, Renegade, Blaze Headlong, Emberblade, pick up and play Phoenix Flame, Lava Burst. Very cut and dry. KO has no real answer to this. There's no Flesh Bag anymore. We have no on-hits, so there isn't anything for KO to prioritize blocking. There really isn't any way to bait KO into overblocking something. We don't have that Mounting Anger. Here, the difference between pitching brand for Emberblade as opposed to playing the brand is we get an extra point of damage from the Emberblade because Lava Burst is going to take our Shuko trigger. If we played brand, then Phoenix Flame, the Phoenix Flame gets the Shuko trigger, and we are effectively losing a point of damage by not working an Emberblade in here. And finally, Lava Burst comes in for 6. It appears that Kayo is going to go to 5, and we will see what he wants to do with his turn. We draw a very bad hand. If any of these cards was a blue, our hand would be incredible, and we very likely win the game on the spot, because Kayo's Bloodrush Bellow is not looking to be great. We take Claw, we go to 9. Kayo's follow-up here, even if this is a swing big for 10, we could just put Armor in front of it, possibly a card from hand, whatever wasn't a blue, live, and then throw back a huge churn. Here, we don't even need to block to stay alive to Reckless Swing. We go to 3, and that is what we're going to need to do, because with all reds, we have to use our Furnace. The line is going to be play Mounting Anger, pitch Spreading Flames. Hope that the Mounting Anger hits, but it likely doesn't because Kayo has armor. The follow-up can be Lava Vein Loyalty for 3, pitch Spreading Flames to Furnace to Emberblade for 3, pick up and play Phoenix Flame. All of this is to say we're not going to block the CNC, we'll go to 3. We could put our Shuko in front of this if we wanted to play around double Reckless Swing. I really don't think we need to. Double Reckless Swing asks for a lot from Kayo. It asks for Kayo to 1, draw 2 Reckless Swings. 2, be able to have 2 other 6-power attacks in hand. And 3, not discard the first Reckless Swing to the second Reckless Swing to the first Reckless Swing. So here we're just getting damage. Kayo is going to need to block the Emberblade. Kayo does not need to block the Phoenix Flame, but if Kayo does go to 1, any 2-card hand gets 3 cards away from him. We still have Shuko to block the Claw. Depending on how Kayo does or doesn't block attack here, he may not make a Might. But at this point, we need to draw 3 blocks. Thankfully we do. We have a Wild Ride coming in for 7 with Go Again. Let's think about how we are going to attack on our turn. We need to keep 2 of these cards. And in fact, we get to keep 2 of these cards. So the question is, how do we feel about giving up Shuko? How do we feel about giving up Snatch or Rising Resentment? The easy 3-card block here is Tenacity, Nasty Surprise, Flamescale Furnace. On our turn, we send Rising Resentment for 3. That gets blocked by a card. We send Snatch for 4. That could get blocked by a card. Could also get blocked by 2 cards. We have the Snapdragon Scalers available for a blind Snatch. That could backfire. If we draw a 0 cost off the top of our deck, we take another card out of Kayo's hand, maybe just win the game, depending on what it is. But I like a different line here, which is we block the Wild Ride with Nasty Surprise, Rising Resentment, and Shuko. That covers the 7. We stay at 3. We are out of Reckless Swing range. On our turn, we Snatch for 4 with the Snapdragons up. If Kayo blocks for 3, we snap the Snatch, we draw a card, we deal a point of damage. Hopefully draw another 0 with Go Again. If not, we can play Tenacity for 3 or pitch it to Emberblade, which gets another card out of Kayo's hand, and arsenal something. If it gets 2 cards, then we snap and we Tenacity for 4, which gets another card out of Kayo's hand. So we'll still block this for 7. On our turn, we are looking at a minimum of a 2-card 7 between Snatch and Emberblade or Tenacity. a maximum of a 2-card 8 if Kayo double blocks the snatch. If Kayo only gets to keep 1 card at the end of his turn is going to be Claw for 4, which we can cover with either 2/2 blocks or a 3-block and Furnace. Kayo does not make a Might from just attacking with Claw, and that means that the next Claw comes in for 3, which is a 1-card block from us. With 3 cards, we can very likely strip Kayo's hand. So here, Tenacity comes in for 4. We get a card from Kayo, we put him to 1, which means that a starter and a blue gets 3 cards away from him. We are looking very solid. Claw for 4 means that we need to block with 2 cards from hand. We don't have our 3 block to put in front with Furnace. That said, we do have a starter and a blue, so we can block this Claw with Flamescale Furnace and Brand with Cinderclaw, take no damage on our turn. Ronin Renegade, Emberblade, Phoenix Flame. That gets 3 cards out of Kayo's hand. Kayo's response is Claw. We get to keep 3 cards, and we continue to put pressure on Kayo. Worth noting that Reckless Swing very likely kills Kayo because we don't die and Kayo keeps no cards. It does put us dead to second Reckless Swing, but that puts the onus on Kayo to be playing 2 Reckless Swings and to find the second one. Kayo just passes to end, which means he has a red in hand. We are going to pick up a Phoenix Flame at the end of his turn. Our turn is going to be Brand for 1, Phoenix Flame for 1, Emberblade for 3, Phoenix Flame for 1, Lava Burst for 5. And we'll pick up a win if we're not dead to Reckless Swing. Double Reckless Swing. Kayo clashes into an agility that he will not be able to use. We'll sequence a little fancy here. The Phoenix Flame is going to get a 3 block away from Kayo before we send the Emberblade. This is cute sequencing on our part. It doesn't matter here because the game has already ended. But, you know, if Kayo was a little more life, then maybe it is relevant that we sent the 1-power Phoenix Flame before the 3-power Emberblade. Generally, you do want to send your small attacks before your big attacks. We are going to pick up that win. We can look at value per turn and see that we were still below Kayo's output. Frankly, this is not. This is why I don't like FaB into this current meta. Yes, we picked up the win. I think we got a little lucky to do it. I think that's what FaB needs to do to beat Kayo. A good flesh bag is going to take a lot of momentum out of your turn and potentially set you on the back foot overall. We saw Kayo have 2 underwhelming Blood Rush Bellows and a Cast Bones turn 1 that missed getting the agility, but if any of those things changes, this is a very different game. So that is how you need to play this matchup. You need to get lucky, you need to keep pressure on, you need your opponent to get unlucky. We misplayed around a flesh bag, and if we had played a little tighter, we can potentially get more damage into our Art of War turn. But, you know, that is something we need to tighten up, and that's how you get those small points to win this matchup. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If so, be sure to head jab that like button. My comments are always open for questions or feedback. If you haven't already done so, I'd ask again, please subscribe to my channel. It's free, it helps me out. But no matter what you do, catch me back here tomorrow for more daily FaB gameplay. And until then, take care.